We're on. Cool. Okay, today I have one that I don't know what the fuck I'm expecting. I kind of know what I'm expecting, but I'd like to be a little bit optimistic about it because it does have on the box printed in quotes the year's best movie with GQ as the source. So if GQ, all their cinematic credibility, is putting their title on the line here, advocating for this film being arguably the best movie of the year. Well, goddamn, if I'm not gonna watch it, with that in mind, the film I'm going to discuss today is called Hustlurrrrrs, and it is a film that I tried to put off watching until I was in a good mood, but it was at the library, it was there, had a chance, snagged it, and it's going to get watched. I don't particularly think I'm going to enjoy this movie, despite it being subject matter that I probably am the best person to critique and try and explain or contextualize for people that aren't also degenerate dickbags that go to strip clubs. But yeah, what I know about this movie, just because I know it was everywhere, like everybody was talking about it like 2 years ago, I think. It's it's a movie about a chick or a team of chicks that are strippers that begin drugging and I guess stealing from their clientele, and things apparently get off the rails. I don't know if that is even an accurate description of the movie at this point. But yeah, and I know that Cardi B as well as Lizzo are in it. So, I know that both of them seem to have been sex workers at some point in their lives. So they probably are drawing from a pool of, genuine, like they've lived through some of these circumstances, and maybe this film is a way of them infusing some of their own situational prowess. I don't know, stories. This is their memoirs, basically. The memoirs of a fucking hooker wasn't marketable enough, so Hustlers was what they chose. But yeah, anyway, I kind of have heard about it. The one draw that I do have to this movie, and I guess I should put right out there because it probably is the only unifying thing for me to this film, because otherwise I would probably just have ignored it completely, is that one of my favorite comedians, a Philly native named Big J Okerson, is apparently his voice is used for the strip club, like the DJ guy. He's the strip club DJ. And a fun piece of trivia, this isn't his first role doing that. He was also the strip club DJ on the short-lived, very good show on FX called Louis, which is about Louis C.K. and some of his exploits. And there's an episode where Robin Williams and Louis are the only two that show up to a funeral for some shitty club promoter guy who croaked, and the after party, or I don't even know, after party, I guess the proper term would be, in lieu of a reception, they decide to go to a place that the guy always talked about, which was the strip club in a really seedy part of Brooklyn. And him and Robin Williams go there, and all the strippers start having a very emotional reaction to this guy dying, which is funny. And Big J Okerson is the DJ in that scene as well. Fucking perfect role for him. I'm sure that I'll be completely satisfied with Big J's use. He is the one of the reasons I do this is I was a big fan of Legion of Skanks. Obviously, great fucking podcast. Louis J. Gomez and Dave Smith with Big J, and usually a plethora of guests and regulars that pop in. It's like probably the closest thing to Opie and Anthony that they currently have in the realm of podcasts. Just because it's very funny. It's a silly show. It's very interactive, not very hard to follow. The characters are likable, relatable, and for the most part, you'll laugh when you listen to it. They break down social and current events to like kind of give you like the funny in it, and when you're trying to be funny with your friends and shit, and you want to say something that's like a little off color, and it doesn't quite translate. It's like these guys are the best at doing that. They give really poignant and good observations and make it funny. And then once in a while you get Lewis just going off the rails about some shit. Whore, fun shit like that. So yeah, I'm excited to hear Big J's voice. Everything else, not so much. This is gonna be a tough one. I'm probably gonna get in a lot of trouble for making fun of women. The Molly's Game one, I haven't had any recourse or backlash from that. I haven't had to explain myself on that, but I think I was a little harsh on the ladies. You guys are good at what you do, but when push comes to shove, it's like just kind of like let's all cool it with the we're all super powerful and influential and we don't need no blank be it man or whatever insert whatever you'd like. It's fine. Like, you guys can do whatever you want, but when push comes to shove, we're a symbiotic culture. Like, everybody needs each other to keep not only the species going, which could probably use a few generations, a couple people slowing down, specifically the Midwest and South. We're looking at you. Quit fucking each other because you're not contributing anything but fucking Napa Auto Parts employees that don't know what size ball hitch go on a 2014 Toyota Tacoma. That's what you're breeding. That's what your offspring become. Or Walmart greeters, who have no qualms about telling me what a coon ass is. And I don't even have to censor that. If you go to Louisiana, go ask around what a coon ass is. It's not something that you would expect. It's just like their way of saying like hick or like hillbilly. But yeah, I was accused of being one and then had to inquire what that means. And when someone explained it to me, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not saying that ever again. And you can just call me white trash. Like, just what that's fine. You don't need your own little fucking niche fucking colloquialisms for explaining that your cousins were parents or parents were cousins. Fuck. Oh man. Oh, that was all. I almost teed myself up perfectly for that one. I fucked it up still. But yeah. You don't need to fucking like the women empowerment shit. It's fine. You guys are doing fine. Just like, just shut up about it. You don't hear like men needing that much like reaffirmation, just for putting fucking shoes and a shirt on in the morning. Like, people just kind of have a tendency to do things, and then there's people that have a tendency to do things for attention. And it kind of seems like right now, this film came out in the perfect time where everybody seems to be really fixated on doing things for attention. So how are you going to market a movie where a bunch of strippers are robbing people and drugging people and not, have them seen as like bad people, but as, them seen as like, empowered females, who probably, I'm sure there's going to be some kind of like ramifications to their actions in this film. It's not a fairy tale. And it doesn't kind of seem like it does seem like it's pretty grounded in reality from what I have seen. Like, it is probably based a lot on Cardi B's experience as a sex worker. And like, I'm sure some of the other ladies have collectively, they've created like an eclectic, pool of stories and had, expertise to draw from in writing and creating this movie. So like, I'm sure that like the one thing it probably will be to the best of its ability, well written and like written from a very, knowledge focused standpoint, like where it's like, we're drawing from experience and this is what we wanted to present the audiences with. So I'm hoping that translates and it comes through and it comes off as like relatable and genuine and whatnot and all those good things. But I do have a feeling like it is going to completely neglect a lot of like the logic, in excuse for making these characters either seem smarter or like look better. 1 second. I have another thing uploading right now, so that's fun. Just got to make sure that I'm going to have to edit that out. But yeah, so I do think that they're probably going to like throw some logic out of the window, reality, not really like embellish, but kind of like be dismissive of certain logical pitfalls that would come in a situation like this, to make either a better, like, I'm sure it'll be for a better story. Like, if it's a good story and it's entertaining, like, like I said, I'm still fucking gaga over the Black Klansman movie because it was so goddamn entertaining. So if a film is good, it'll stand on its own 2 feet and it'll be entertaining and serve its purpose. But if it's like, this is like a semi-passable, interesting story, enshrouded in a bunch of bullshit, then it's gonna come off that way, and I'm not gonna pull punches about it. But like I said, I hope to be entertained, and I think, because of all of the expertise that these ladies that are featured are writing from, it will come through and shine. So without further ado, we are watching Hurslurrrrrs. Still doing it. I like it. Yeah, the movie not so much. It was all right. It was a functional movie. God damn it, that's gonna stress me out. At least it's kind of. I think it's correct. No, it's not. No, it's not correct. Fuck. Oh man, this is gonna bother me. Okay, so I'm looking at Army of the Dead, and no, that can work. That can work. Yeah, that can work. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at Army of the Dead, and there's some dice on there. It's one of my autism things, man. I'm telling you. I'm seeing the dice. I have to make sure the dice are the right sides. No, that's not. I think the. Fuck. Nah. Anyway, it's gonna bother me. We're off to a fucking awesome start already. So, yeah, Hustlers. So I will give it some praise up front. It was a functional movie. It was an entertaining movie. There's really no qualms you can have about a movie that's focused around people getting naked and shaking their ass, regardless of who it is. Magic Mike works for that way. Showgirls works for that way. It's actually a really nice backdrop that sets the bar really low. Not for like expectations, but I do mean like for what you're getting into, you kind of know where like the story is, like the baseline for it is. So you're not exactly expecting it to be some deeply heady thing. It's like probably going to be some weird, dirty degen story about a strip club, and it just kind of blossoms from there, which the film does fine. It's actually pretty good. The quality of the filmmaking, the pacing of the story, everything. The pacing, I would actually say, was the most proficient thing. It never lost my attention. I had to stop for a couple of reasons, but I was very eager to get back, and it wasn't hard to resume without I didn't have to rewind or figure out where it was or what I missed. Very easy to get back into. And it held my attention for the duration. Very fucking, not even slick cutting. Slick cutting kind of gives it doesn't give it enough credence, but it was cut very, very effectively, very deliberately. It understands comedy beats. Even though the jokes did kind of fall short on this one, because you're like. It knows its audience and it knows who's supposed to be laughing, but it's like you can kind of see them coming from a mile away. But the comedy cuts are there. It's fucking well done. And I will, give it up. Fucking, it was an entertaining movie. That was, probably the two most shining, most polished. The design of everything was very authentic. It did have a very real feel to, like, if you've ever been to a strip club, if you've ever hung around with those kind of people, you kind of get the impression that this person was fully immersed, or who, I guess it was a couple of people that wrote it, but this was they were fully immersed in what they did, and it came off very authentic. And like I said, I had no problems with a film that isn't really. It tends to bend or embellish the truth, for its own benefit. In this case, it worked. It worked very fucking well. I have no problems with it. That's going to be kind of a point I'm going to jump off of in a second here to start with it. But yeah, just before I start trashing this, I'm going to say, probably a 7 out of 10. That was a pretty fucking entertaining movie. It will, it has a little something for everybody. There is a message in there, which, is going to probably be how this wraps up, that you're not sure, or at least I wasn't sure, if that was really the message they were going to go with. Because it's not exactly like like anything that you wouldn't get from like the, you know, pretty much looking at the box, but you know, or like, you know, seeing a poster, or even like I fully thought of this as like, you know, something that was completely resolved in the previews. So yeah, like, you know, let's get into it. The message of the movie seems to be that family is like not who you're born in blood with. It's like who you assume and who you like choose to like who really is looking out for you and who's taking care of who. That's like people that have your back. That's your family. It's not always like, you know, really relatives. It's people that you form bonds with and you suffer with, and it's like that's a pretty good message. Like, you know, or you know, you would think like that's a very like at least like honest, genuine, transparent message. Like that's something that comes across, and it's like it's very true, but it's like a little too true. And it's like because it's kind of like one of those things you can't argue with, like, oh, like, you know, this motherfucker right here, this is my best friend since we were 10 years old, he's like tighter than blood. This guy right here, he had my back in Vietnam, he saved my life, like, you know, that's in blood. Well, these are the girls that I formed a, you know, small organized crime syndicate with, to rip off rich businessmen under the guise of both female empowerment and sticking it to the men who they felt were responsible for the 2007-2008 housing crisis and financial collapse on Wall Street. And you know, they're family, and it's like, sure, yeah, fuck yeah, like Italians do the same shit. But you understand that like what you're advocating here. It like you can't take it seriously. Like I don't actually think they're advocating for any of this. Like I don't think it does. It glorify it, kinda. It does, like, not to a detriment, but it does in a way where it's like, yeah, you know, like with the right set of tools, you can definitely swindle horny rich guys, like for your own like bastardized ideal, which is, yeah, fine. That's fine. I don't, like I said, the message is whatever. I don't think they actually believe that. There's people that are gonna watch this and absolutely be like, yeah, motherfucker, and then just go pretend to be a hooker on Craigslist or something. But nah, it's like they're. The part that was successful was like the family thing. Like, yeah, your family. Like they did nothing more you know, blasphemous than who ends up being, I guess, not fucking Walken. Why can't I fucking think of his name? Ray Liotta's character in Goodfellas. He's just some dude, or I guess, wow. All right, so in the context of Goodfellas, Ray Liotta's some dude from the neighborhood. He gets in with the right crowd. They kind of bump him up, and eventually he starts running jobs for the mafia. In this case, it's about a chick who's kind of an outsider. She needs to make money. She's not making enough money, doing her own thing at a diner, and then I guess another strip club. So she goes to Manhattan and starts trying to make, you know, her hustle that way. Older, more seasoned stripper, Jennifer Lopez. I forget her fucking name in the movie already, but yeah, her, and about like 2 fucking tons of makeup to make her look 20 years younger than she actually is. J-Lo, you're beautiful. Like you are a gorgeous girl for 45, 50, or whatever the fuck you are now. Just, dude, stop trying to pretend you're 22. Like, just stop it. And the makeup isn't helping. You look like a fucking clown. When like it's not subtle. Even with fucking movie magic, you still look like a goddamn circus act. Stop it. Just shake your ass and say your lines. Which, oh my god, by the way, her fucking speaking is one of the, like, I get why she's in this movie, and she's very like, that's another thing. Praise the cat. Yeah, the casting was fantastic. Jennifer Lopez does an excellent job of being an obnoxious cunt, and fucking nailed it. Yeah, well done, J-Lo. I hope she got nominated for an Oscar for this, because yeah, she really did a great job being an obnoxious cunt. Yeah, so fuck, I guess the casting was good because everybody was just a fucking obnoxious nightmare except the reporter chick who was dialed back. And kind of wasn't cryptic enough, in my opinion. So reporters are swarmier than that. The media kind of has this like thing where they know how to like twist the knife, because they already, sank their shit into you, because they're giving you the idea that your story needs to be heard, when in reality it's probably just some puff piece, but like, which, is kind of arguable. This whole fucking thing is like, they weren't like even the coolest lady crime to have been committed in that fucking decade. Like, I don't know, it's whatever, it's cool, fine, what, like, I don't know. It's an entertaining story. That's about where it is. Like, I don't understand what the angle. I don't really get it. There clearly was an angle here, and the message is like literally just like family. Like, I think that's what it is. Is that like family is like who you make it, and those bonds are like stronger than some of the bonds you have with your family. It's just a weird fucking point to make. That's all. And like, it like kind of doesn't follow through in any way other than that, like, at the end they think about talking again via the reporter is kind of that conduit, because they find out they're talking about each other, which, by the way, is it, like, you got to point out, is done for the fucking like worst. It's done with the worst intentions. Like, they're not fucking doing this to like be like it's kind of exposition, but at the same time, it's like in reality they're just being catty, and it like that doesn't really resolve anything. It's just kind of like, oh, well, what did she say? Oh, what did she say? It's like, that's not plot. That's just like, I don't know, filler. And it's like filler that like they could have cut it off 10 minutes later, like 10 minutes earlier. Like, J-Lo's fucking going to the ATM, wrap it up that way. Like, quick 2-minute package of where they at now. And then what's with the fucking dancing? Again, I get it, it's a movie about strippers, but like, dude, they really do feel the urge to just kind of let these things peter out and then be like, surprise dance number. Like, you don't need that. There's this movie called Blind Spotting, and there's I think I was bitching about it when I talked about Black Klansman, but yeah, Blind Spotting and Us, they both just have these like weird dance rap routines that the movie just kind of peters out for a little while, and then they're like, oh yeah, you lost attention clearly, because there's just like expositional dialogue to get you through that last little bit of the fucking story arc to get you to like the I guess like the climax, if not like the falling action, like, or the resolutions, that it leads to. Like, it's just like this weird pivotal point where there's nothing going on, and it's too early to pull the, like, blow your load on the fucking the climax. So you're like, all right, well, dance number. And in this case, it's like it just kind of fucking does the same thing. I mean, albeit it's not in the middle of the fucking climax, or like the any part of the real action. It just is like this weird punctuation point. But I do like, and it actually got me to go through the fucking end titles. Is Big J just fucking giving out advice, fucking doing strip club voice. It was fucking awesome. He was well cast too. Like, fucking cheers on that. Like, yeah, fucking Big J Okerson. Fucking, I took Jamie to see him when we were in Raleigh, and fucking me and Jamie were in there, and fucking he told that joke about his daughter having a bush, and Jamie told me later that was the hardest he ever laughed. He thought he was gonna throw up. Yeah. So if you like Big J Okerson, that's yeah, fucking check him out. But fucking yeah, like, all right, where was I going with that? Oh yeah, like the family, like if that's the point of the movie, the fucking movie is kind of a waste of time. It's not bad. Like, it's not a bad movie. It does. I wrote something down here. Because there is this like the subtext of the movie where, like I said, it's not shoehorned in. It actually does come off very naturalistic. Is it subtle? Not a fucking chance. But like, it works with the story, and in the realm of the narrative that you're watching, it's not as like abhorrent. It doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like a part of the angle, and like ultimately, like I said, I don't feel like the message had really anything to do with this. But there's this like overarching like theme that they think that the Wall Street guys that come into their club are criminals, or at least J-Lo's like disposition is they think that they're like, they're the ones that ruined the economy in 2008, and like, it's our obligation to like now just be shitty towards shitty people for your own personal gain. Like, I would understand if maybe they were doing this for some philanthropic person, like okay, we're doing this because we're gonna open a non-profit, and like, because that's one of their dreams, like that I could get behind, or like do it in some way. Like, even so, I wrote this down. I was like, maybe they should be investing in like IRAs or ETFs, or even gambling, like any of that shit. Those three things aren't necessarily the keys to success independently, but when you combine all three of them, you get a lot of, it's pretty good for returns. Just trust me on that. Don't take it as financial advice. Just take it as the ramblings of a stoned idiot. Roth IRAs for money that you want to put away to save. ETFs, they're generally safe and go up over time, so you have a nice nest egg, which is going to accumulate more money if you invest in cool, safe shit like, precious metals and oil and shit like that. Buy into an ETF and forget about it. Treat it like a savings account. Check it once a day, check it once a week. You get dividends. You get dividends if you buy the right ETFs. Fucking excellent way to make money, like, instead of just throwing it into a savings account where it's compounded, like, and you get like a small portion of that back. Or CD, CD also works. But anyway, in gambling, because every now and then, a long shot pays off, and I highly recommend strategically making small calculated bets on long shot odds a lot of the time, because it will pay off. You might not break even if you do this like to a ridiculous, like the umpteenth level, but you will have returns on all this. So, like, even any of those fucking three things, I could have gotten behind. A fourth thing, I could have gotten behind dealing drugs, because there was a large element of narcotics in the use and like exploitation in this film. I could have gotten behind any of those four things. Like, that would have been completely okay with me. But it's like, no, they're screwing these guys over for their own personal gain that they're going to spend frivolously. Like, they make a passing comment about some chick that's not like really introduced or elaborated on further than the statement, but they're like, yo, yeah, so-and-so put her two kids through college and now retires is like working at a nail salon that she owns. Like, okay, so she had the right idea. What you guys are doing is going out and spending a shitload of the money that you just swindled, and if the IRS were to catch wind of this, have to give back. So not only are you just like not sitting on any liquid assets right now, you're just sitting on like shit that will get repoed from you. So you like not only would be like fiscally vacant, but like you wouldn't have anything, because it would all be like the proceeds of crime. Like, so it's this irresponsibility that is like kind of frustrating with the film, but like it has this like real like it like emboldened like cavalier attitude towards it. Like like if you are going to break the law for your own personal gain and like stick it to men, in this facet, like, don't be smart with your money. Just fucking do whatever the fuck you want. And like, does that seem like, I don't know, like, am I the only one that's like that? It's like, I know they're not taking this seriously. Like, it can't be taken that seriously. And it is a dramatization after all, but like, there's just this like weird like air of, I don't know, like just destitution, I guess, like, where you're just like, but yeah, like, you did all this and then you still had to go to jail and you still had to go get lawyers, and like they had to serve probation and shit. But it's like, your assets, you'd have to pay some of them back. Like, there's no fucking way. And like, I'm sure that there was like a life insurance payout on whatever the main character's name is, her grandma. Like, I'm sure that she in some way had that, and I'm hoping that like there was some responsibility with some fiscal nest egg. But it's like, just me having a panic attack through the whole thing with like, yeah, like, why do you need another pair of shoes? Why do you need another apartment? Why aren't you guys all living together? Like saving money and like, investing it or gambling or like buying and selling drugs, like doing something besides making an ass out of yourself in an Escalade at a fucking car dealership. Like, what the fuck? And just, it's like frustrating for someone like me, because like, I don't know, life imitates art, and I wouldn't necessarily hold this to the regard of being art. I don't know why I got Midwestern there for a sec. Regard. Oh, fuck. I'm tired, but yeah, like, this really wore me out. No, like, I just am at a loss. Like, okay, like, so yeah, life's gonna imitate art. We're gonna have a bunch of for the next couple of years, young people that are probably gonna, I guess, life is already starting to irritate it. I do frequent 4chan a lot. I know that a lot of people say that's how you turn into an incel, but I really don't feel about that way. It's like I get my news like a beat before the actual mainstream media does. It's a little more anecdotal. You get to fucking say whatever you want with pure anonymity unless you choose to breach that. But, that's at your own discretion at this point. Frankly, I'm just there for the memes and the laughter. And I like watching a lot, like whenever wars are popping off, generally they have live streams, or like riots too. Last summer was hot for some riots, man. I was watching a lot of live streams last summer, getting real baked and watching fucking like helicopter footage of people tearing shit down, burning shit up. Like, it was great. But yeah, I just, like, life, like, imitates art. I don't know where the fuck I was going with that. I think life imitates art. Is the mantra. Yeah, you have like young people, fucking something. I don't fucking know. I'm at 20 minutes. I could continue bitching about this. There's a couple of like mundane little details that annoyed me. Like, to further elaborate though on the fucking housing thing, like, so 2008 hits, and the reason that there's a recession isn't necessarily because like the fucking housing market died. Like, no one like really got too affected by that unless you were like a homeowner that was already like locked into one of these things. Like, it all kind of resolved in a weird like they all got bailed out. Like, do you not remember that? Like, it's not like fucking Wall Street slowed down that hard. Like, yeah, maybe for like a week or two, maybe a month at the late, like, but it wasn't like those fucking buildings were vacant. Like, no, people were still down there and spending fucking money. Like, the government shutdown is like, if you're gonna pick one, like that was like 2011, I think. 2011. Like, that was where like, a lot of government employees like had to remortgage their house and shit, were like selling their possessions on the side of the road. Like, that I remember. And like fucking like the 2008 thing, it was like, yeah, like the mortgage crisis, it hit, people defaulted, but like ultimately like the clientele got bailed out. Like, if not, or not the clientele, the fucking corporate, and got bailed out, and like they made sure, because like shit would stop flowing. They do a pretty good job explaining it in The Big Short. Like, I just know that it was like, it wasn't like really a major lapse like they're making it out to be, where this would like necessitate them like drugging people. I mean, maybe for a stripper it was, but like I don't think that was what happened. I was up like in New York like a year later, and it was like fucking bustling as ever. There's like, I just remember hating going to Manhattan because of fucking how annoying not only the people that like enjoy Manhattan are, but like it is fucking expensive, and like you're not living there, you're not going places if you don't just have money hand over fist to fucking piss away. So like, I don't know, I kind of call bullshit on that. It's not like a major embellishment, but it's just like something I want to point out, because like I don't want you like somebody's gonna be like, oh well, like, they just had to do what they had to do, like you never had a hustle. It's like, dude, I've in the past, I'm gonna bleep that out. Fucking I've done things here and there. I've taken some shitty jobs, doing demo work, doing construction. I work in a kitchen now. Like, I'm not exactly like gonna retire doing this shit, or at least I'm not planning on it, but like, everybody has shitty jobs, and it's like, especially in a shitty job market, like, right now there's so many jobs available that everybody's just collecting unemployment, and it's gonna be fucking weird. And like, whatever happens, but it's just fucking like, they made it seem like this was like some, like, because I think of that book by Upton Sinclair, The Jungle, and I was just telling my buddy Ian about this, like how like that was like a like reason that like unionization happened, and it was like because like people were like fucking just running amok, and like it was like a banned book because of that. It was like they were worried that like people would see this and like want to unionize and want to form like coalitions to like make shit work. And like I've always said that it's like if strippers and like sex workers want to unionize, like go for it. But I never like I can't in my fucking for my life of me fathom that things were ever that bad where it's like you justify in your own head like drugging people and then stealing from them outright on their credit cards. Like, I don't know. That's just like, I don't know where the moral compass really lies there. Cause like I said, like life's going to imitate art, and I'm sure people are going to end up fucking doing this shit. And there's going to be like the next decade or so, like a bunch of these fucking little cartels set up. These like, I think I can say that. Yeah, I think bukkaks, all these fucking cunts. But yeah, anyway, uh, yeah, like I don't know, like it just kind of like left me thinking, like I don't know how I feel about that. I like strip clubs. I know it's a hustle. Like it's a hustle. I go there because they buy the UFC fights. If you really want to know why strip clubs are awesome, it's because you can go there, put a bunch of fucking money on sports bets that they won't be showing at the sports book because March Madness is on, or like fucking college football, or whatever the fuck it is that people are obsessed with that fucking day. Right now it's fucking playoff basketball, and I can't stand basketball, so I'm not there. I'm not hanging out at the sports book. I haven't even been playing poker that much outside of playing online. So like, I don't know. No desire to go over there. I don't know where I was going with any of that shit. I think I'm a little too fucking high to be continuing this shit. Uh, yeah, I guess just like, morally, I don't agree with the movie. Like, hustle however you need to, but like if you're gonna take it to the extent, and I'm sure this was like over dramatized, for the film, but like, just dude, fucking think of how like resell furniture, fucking like get a job painting, do something. Don't just go like start swindling people and doing what hookers do. Like I enjoy the strip club. Let's keep it that way. Oh, that was what I was talking about. The fucking strip club. Yeah, you go there because they're fucking they have all the UFC fights and shit. They buy that shit. So like yeah, you take out like put a couple $100 on the UFC. Then with what's left over, probably like 200-300. You go to the strip club. You're gonna pay for some overpriced drinks. You buy a stripper a fucking beverage, and you just say, "Hey, look, I'm here to chill. I'll keep buying you drinks if you just let me watch the fights and kind of keep me company." Fucking great way to spend the night. They usually tell all their friends to come over, and like for a call, it gets expensive, but like you're not buying dances. You're just there to watch the fucking fights. So like that's what you fucking do, and you get to see titties. That like I don't know how the hell else to explain it to you other than like. Just don't go in there and make an ass out of yourself and start doing drugs openly and getting private dances and acting a fucking fool. Like strip clubs have a purpose, and there's a certain amount of discretion that does go into strip clubs, which I appreciate. The whole shit about them blackmailing people too is kind of fucked up, but like I have heard of places doing that. It's not like the furthest stretch of the imagination. Fuck, I've heard of people recently, like because of this whole OnlyFans thing, like they're getting blackmailed on both ends of it, like using subscribers' real names to like blackmail them at work. But I've also heard of people that like someone like personally in their life had wronged them, and it turns out they have an OnlyFans, so they like out them to their family. So it's pretty messed up out there. But how about this? How about we all work on watching a few movies where we can let these sick, demented fantasies play out instead of actually doing horrible, atrocious shit to one another, and then we all just get online and call each other fuckers. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Thank you for listening. 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 Listening.